So part two of Halloween is coming up, and now that I don't have like a full-time salary job, it's really making me think more about the cost of everything and how expensive it is to like just have fun. Like there is so many different like things that you have to pay for when you go out, and it all really starts to add up. And when you think about it, it makes like the the whole overall price of going out and having fun so high that I could really understand like now why when we think about like things happening in the grand picture of like society of like, oh, people feel like they're miserable, people feel like they don't have community, people feel like they don't have nowhere to go to make friends, people feel like nothing is the same. It's like the forces of capitalism is crushing us for real. Like, I think with the start of COVID was really the final push towards ticket events. But now, like, you go out and you need a ticket for everything. And then the tickets, they be starting at like $10 and $15 at least. You're never going to get like a $5 ticket or something. And so just the price of going already, you're spending money just to go out. And then like I'm going out with my friend to an event actually on Halloween, and the tickets, I want to say they started at like $25, and then they went up to like 40 and 50 because it's like not only do you have to buy a ticket, you have to buy a ticket early. You have to know what's going on. You have to like be prepared to like, oh, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go there and I gotta get these early bird tickets, because then if you don't get them early, you could get them like a week, 2 weeks out, and then they're like, oh, now it's general admissions or now you're late, and then the price is going up and up and up to the point that I think now Halloween is tomorrow. I think that those tickets are probably like $55, which is crazy, because like that's not cheap. That's not cheap in any sense. And so with that, the price of just going out, the number of people that can afford to do that is decreasing, and then the number of people that are willing to do that is decreasing as well, because it's like, okay, I have $50, but do I want to spend $50 to go to an event and I don't know if it's going to be worth it or not? A lot of people probably don't. And so it's like, that's one thing. Then you have to factor in all the other things that you're paying for when you go out, like transportation. I am in New York, so like, okay, if I'm going somewhere, more than likely I'll get on public transportation. So I'm spending like probably not more than like $10. But then there are people that don't live in places with public transportation that's like easily accessible, so they're taking taxis and Ubers, and Uber been taxing. They've been taxing for real. Like, you probably spending $20-$30 on an Uber, but I don't know, maybe that's just in New York, but like Ubers get expensive. And then like even here in New York, you could take public transportation, but like once it start getting to be late at night and trains is coming 15, 20, 30 minutes apart, then it's like, it would probably be, especially if you're a woman, it'll probably be easier and safer to just get in an Uber. And when everybody is going home at that time trying to take Ubers, they get extra expensive on top of already being high. So that's a whole nother factor. Then you go into the places and like you in there, you want to buy drinks. Drinks are starting at $15. They're starting there, probably going up to like $18. I feel like I've even paid $20 for a drink before. And then it's like, if you want to have more than one drink, you could spend $20, $40, $60 on drinks in there. And now just on the whole night, you're already at like $100. There's like this financial barrier to people being able to go out and have fun. And it's not even just parties. There's all type of events like, I don't know what people do, music events, talks, discussions, networking stuff, friend type events, like, oh, go meet people, social gatherings, whatever. There's a price attached to all of it. And it's like, on one hand, I do understand, because I feel like with having a ticket, there is like that more guarantee of like, okay, if you want to go somewhere, you get the ticket, you know you're going to be able to go and get in, hopefully. But it's like you won't have to wait or think about like having backup plans, whatever, in case you don't get in. But on the other side of that, it's like, damn, everything is like high, everything. And even if it's like, even if things aren't free, it's like, why do they have to be $20, $30, $40, $50? And it's like, on one hand, I do understand, because the people that are throwing these events, they have to, you know, pay to have the space, and they have to pay for DJs and stuff like that. But on the other hand, it's like, oh my God, like, it's such a financial obstacle. And for some people it's an obstacle, but then for other people it's like a real financial barrier to being able to go out and just do anything. Even for I was looking at like it's like a pumpkin patch here, like a rooftop pumpkin patch or something here, and it's like, I think the general admission tickets start at $20, and then I was looking at like their drinks and food and stuff, also all $20, maybe like 18, 20, and then like they had activities in there, and you pay for those too. So you're like, it's always gonna cost you $100 to go out, and some people can't or don't want to do that. And then when you start thinking about stuff like making friends and like having community and all this loneliness epidemic that we hear about, it's like, okay, there is nowhere for people to go out and make community. There's nowhere for people to go out and make friends. There's nowhere to go for free or even for real, like low cost, to make friends. Like, you have to be so creative, and it takes like an added layer of work if you want to do that. And on top of that, for real, it's like, what's the alternative to all of the ticketed events? Because it's like, people don't really have house parties anymore, because like, who has a house at this point? Like, who has a house? And then even if you do have a house, I feel like everything is so heavily policed. You're not about to have a house party and somebody not call the police. Like, whether you making noise or it's a bunch of people, just in general, like, everything is so heavily policed. That, and then on the other side of that, it's like, okay, even if you're somebody who has an apartment, because I feel like a lot of people like are living with their parents more than before. I don't have no statistics to back that up, but I feel like a lot of people do still live at home. So it's like, okay, you know, they're not trying to have a party like at their parents' house, and even if their parents are cool with it, I feel like there's that level of like, oh, like, what are people gonna think if like I'm having a party at my parents' house? So I feel like that would stop like more people from doing it, even if their parents was cool with it. But on top of that, it's like, on the other side of that, I guess I should say, on the other side of that, it's like, if you live in an apartment, you can't really be making a bunch of noise and have a bunch of people. Like, I feel like you have some leeway, like maybe if it's like a small gathering, then okay, but you can't be having a real full-blown party, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, there's so many other people living in the building, and you can't disturb them, because it's like, not only is it like that social level of like, oh, we should all like be mindful of each other, it's also like actual things that the building does. Like, my building is sending out emails like, oh, like, y'all need to stop making all this noise. Like, people don't like it. And so you can't really have parties in your apartment. And then that's even if, like, say you're living with people that are cool with that, because most people are living with roommates if they're in apartments. And so it's like, then you gotta worry about like, oh, is your roommate cool? Oh, are you making too much noise? Like, are you in their way and stuff like that? So it's just like, that's a whole other barriers of like, even if you wanted to do something free at home, it's still hard to do. And that's not to mention like other factors on top of that that's not even financial, because on the other hand, there's people that are, you know, they have a disability, so it's like, or they're immunocompromised, even thinking about COVID, like they can't go out to these places because it's not safe, it's not accessible, or like, and then I think also thinking of like the mental, emotional aspect of like going out. If you're somebody that, you know, you're working full time, and or you have like a bunch of other stuff going on in your life, like I'm in grad school, and so like thinking about like last week when I was like, oh my god, I have to get so many like of these assignments done now so that when I go out next week I won't have a bunch of stuff to worry about. It's like those mental, emotional factors of like, you have to prepare yourself to go out, because we live in a world where people like have to work so much and they have so many things to do, and then there are people that are like working 2 and 3 jobs like just to be able to like afford to live, and then on top of that afford to go out and do things that they want to do. And so it's like all of these levels of making socializing inaccessible. And then I think like on a meta level, there's so many things happening like across the world that makes everything feel so tense. It's like you have to like, you're like, you desperately need to find these moments to like hold on to have joy and like to take your mind off of stuff, because like we got the election coming up and everybody's like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do if Donald Trump is put in office again and he do all this stuff of dismantling all these departments or whatever, and whatever else he's talking about. And then we have everything that's happening in Palestine and people like feeling so powerless within the political systems and feeling like we're all just being carried whichever way that, you know, rich, powerful people want us to be taken without having a say in like how we want to live our lives. And on top of that, I feel like people don't really talk about the everyday impact of living through climate change, because right now it's been so hot this week. Like it's been so hot. It's supposed to be like 76, 77 degrees on Halloween. Yesterday I went to class without a jacket, a coat, or nothing, and like I think over the weekend it's supposed to be up in the high 70s, almost 80s as well. And like people are like, oh, this is so nice, like you don't have to wear a coat with your costume, it'll be so warm. But at the same time, that's really scary. And like I think having like lived through having very cold winters and like seeing snow every year, and now it's just gone, a lot of people are very like acutely aware of what that means for the changes that's happening to our planet. And it's like there's this, I think it ignites like FOMO, but really like also a lot of fear and anxiety of like, oh, in the next few years, like will we even be able to do the stuff that we're doing now? Will the things that exist now even exist because of climate change? And also feeling powerless to do anything about that as well, because it's like, okay, we want politicians to do this and stop these companies from, you know, destroying the environment. And they're like, oh, we'll campaign on it, we'll do it. And then like they don't actually do anything, if they even campaign on it and pretend they're going to do anything, because some of them don't even pretend. So it's just like all of these feelings creating this anxiousness, and people want, you know, socialization and closeness to combat that, but then it's so hard to even get it. So I don't know, y'all, that's on my mind. That's like a big piece of like what's always in the back of my mind, is I am like thinking like, oh my God, I need to go out and do stuff. Oh my God, I need community around me. I need people around me. I need to go do stuff. My couch not gonna teach me how to Dougie. Like, it creates a lot of anxiety in me. And I think it creates a lot of anxiety and fear and worry in a lot of people. But it's like talking about it acknowledges how large the problems are and how hard it feels to fix them. And while I think that there are things that we could do on like an individual level and like a communal level to try to combat that, I think even those steps are very hard just because it's a lot. It's a lot of factors. It's a lot of levels. But with all that being said, I'm not going to stop trying. I'm not. Because then the systems win. So I'm going to try to go out and have fun, enjoy dressing up and being silly and having fun with my friends, maybe meeting people, talking to people, socializing, and just being young. And trying to enjoy my 20s the best I can. Okay, now that my little rant is over, let's get into the costume. I'm going to be Satoru Gojo from the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. I bought a few different things from Pretty Little Thing, Amazon, Shein, ASOS, and I'm going to just see what fit and what costume looks the best. So first up is this costume I got from Amazon. I thought it would look realistic to the actual character, but honestly when I put it on, I really didn't like how it was fitting. I'm really also not a big fan of like the neck area, even though that's how the uniforms look in the anime. Next up is this set I got from Pretty Little Thing, which I think is really cute. It is a matching set, so you could see like the color and the materials for the top and the bottom match perfectly. And I think it fits pretty good. I wish it was long sleeves because I think that would be more accurate to the character. But overall, I like how it looks. Like, it's really giving. Here are the pants. The pants are pretty comfortable. They're not like pleather or whatever on the inside. They're really soft, and you can see they go down to my ankles. I'm not flooding or nothing. They do got a little bit of space right here, and so I got that weird gap in the back, but I still think they look good. Definitely better than the Amazon costume. And here's the whole thing. I like it. Next up, we have this set from Shein. It is also a matching set, so you could see that the bottom and the top do match in color and texture, but I liked it because it has this like zip right here, and you know, I could pull it up, make it look cute, whatever, and it looked really nice when I go on the website. But I think it's like way too boxy, and I felt kind of awkward in it, and so it's not really giving what I thought it would have gave. So I don't know if I really like this one that much. Let's get a better look at the whole thing. So this is the whole thing. It fits technically, but it just does. I don't think this looks good on me. Like I'm not vibing with it. I'm really not. Okay, today is Halloween day, and I have like a few things to do to finish like getting this stuff ready for my costume. But like, I'm so excited. I'm excited. So this is the wig. Got some bangs. I like it really, it's pretty long, but I definitely need to cut it. And I want to try to add layers, even though I'm not a damn cosmetologist. Okay, y'all, I watched 2 YouTube videos on how to cut bangs like 3 years ago, so I'm just using that knowledge that's stored in my brain to cut these. And one of the videos, they cut straight across, and then in the other one, they like twisted it and then cut across the twist. And so I'm going to try both ways, honestly. So first I'm going to cut across just to get it at the length that I want it to be. I'm going a little bit under my eyebrows because once I cut it and layer it, I want it to be at my eyebrows. Twist it and cut across again. It wasn't a good cut, but this is supposed to give it more of like a fringe look. Now I'm gonna go through and try to add layers and take some of the weight off of the bottom of the bangs. So I'm just taking sections of hair and pulling it back and cutting at a diagonal. Oh, there's so much hair getting in my mouth. Now I'm just trying to clean up these little pieces because I really didn't do that good of a job cutting across. And then going in with some point cuts to kind of give it more of that fringe look again. I missed so many spots. It's so hard to cut this hair. It's like a thick thread feel to it. And just see, trying to get rid of those boxy looking pieces. I think this came out better than I thought it would, and so I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead. It looks nice to me though. So now I'm gonna go through and cut layers in the wig itself, and I'm starting by separating the front from the back, starting at the back of my ear. And now I'm gonna separate the front section into 3 different sections. So the first section is at the end of my eyebrow. Just trying to make sure they're even on both sides. Seeing the size of the section of hair. And then I'm making the second and third section split at the top point of my ear. Now I'm going to take the hair and I'm pulling it down and cutting at a diagonal upwards. I'm cutting about an index finger's length worth of hair off. And I'm doing that for each section. and I think it looks pretty good. Now I'm going in on the other side and doing the same thing, and I think it looks nice. I'm going to take a little piece of the front section and cut a little bit higher to try to give it that waterfall look. And so I got 2 sections and separated off from the rest of the hair, and I'm going in and doing the same thing, cutting about an index finger's length worth of hair off. I honestly didn't know which direction to cut this section, so I just picked a direction and went with it. Doesn't look great, but like it doesn't look bad. I'm going in with my little razor and trying to clean it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna go in and do the back section. I split it directly in half, and then I'm splitting each half into 2 sections. Now instead of cutting upwards, I'm gonna go in and cut downwards. And so again, I'm pulling the hair down, holding it downwards. I was struggling right here. And then cutting at that diagonal. And I'm going on to the other section and doing the same thing. Yeah, I think it looks like pretty good. I think if I wouldn't have cut that front piece, like it would look perfect. But I'm going in on the other side of the back and doing the same thing. And again, this hair was kind of hard to cut. It was like the consistency of thread. I think it looks pretty good though. Okay, I also got this face mask. It's really a blindfold because I ordered like a mask from like a cosplay store or something, and I don't know if like somebody stole it or the people that were supposed to deliver it lost it, but either way it never came. And so I got this blindfold as like a backup option, but because it's a blindfold I can't actually see out of it, so it looks I need to iron it too. I don't got no iron, but I'm gonna try. It's like 2 layers, so I'm gonna try to cut off 1 layer to see if that'll make me be able to see out of it, because this is just pitch black. Like I can see out of the bottom kind of if I look down, but if I look forward I can't see anything. So I'm just going through with my hands and kind of ripping the threads apart like piece by piece, because it was a little too hard to try to go through with the scissors. And I think as long as I'm like being gentle as I pull it apart, like the fabric isn't gonna rip. And see, I'm only using the scissors for those kind of tricky parts. Like the middle section had a cushion part on the inside that I wanted to keep, and so I wanted to cut around that with the scissors instead of trying to rip it apart with my hands. Okay, so I cut it. It's the back, but it's more see-through now. And I didn't cut the little flap off because I still wanted to have like a shape, and so I'm just gonna turn it inwards. And I think that'll be for it. Okay. And I could see like pretty good. Yeah, I think this might be it. I also got the glasses. So I'm obviously not about to wear that blindfold for the whole night. And so I'll probably just wear these most of the time. Okay, now that I have everything laid out and kind of put together, and I got like some type of idea of what I'm gonna wear, I need to get ready for class because I actually have a class today at 5. And so I want to have everything laid out before that because it ends at 6:30. And so I'm supposed to be going out at like 8:30. So it's probably gonna take me like a good amount of time to get back home from class. And then I'm gonna have to hurry up and get ready too. And so I just want it to be as easy as possible so that nothing goes wrong. But I'm excited. Like, I'm so excited to put everything on and have everything together and go out. I feel like I haven't did like a real Halloween costume in years, and I'm so excited. Like, I feel like a kid for real. Like, oh my god, I have to go to school and then I get to come back and put on my Halloween costume and go out and see everybody's costumes and go do stuff. Like, it's Halloween. I'm like, oh my god. I'm excited, and I think it's gonna look nice too. So I'm about to go get ready, and I'll be back after this class. I hope he ends this class early. I feel like the type of professor he is that he would end class early because it is Halloween. But we'll see. But I'm gonna go regardless. I'm going to class because I'm hella studious. Like, I'm a good student. So it's 7:15 and I'm just getting home. But it was so funny though. So many people in my class had plans. When class ended, everybody like sprinted out the door to go home and get dressed and get where they was going. And so I have like 30-ish minutes, and like I don't have to do nothing crazy, so I think I'll be ready in time. And I'm gonna try to eat something. Okay, I got some Wingstop. I ordered it while I was on the train, and that was so smart of me because it basically got here at the same time as me. So I'm deciding between wearing my Doc Marten boots, these, and these platforms. I feel like the platforms are cuter, but the Doc Martens are more comfortable. But this is the whole outfit and costume together. I like how it came out. I think it looks so cute. And I'm probably going to end up wearing the platforms.